Philosophy. A practice in which man tries to define its purpose in the universe. Ever since the first man had a thought that wasn't unga bunga, they were wondering what they were put on this rocky planet in a seemingly endless universe for. Was it to survive? But why survive? To eat? To love? To play? Are we a figment of the universe meticulously crafted by higher beings with an underlying purpose hidden deep within the cosmos, or is it all truly meaningless? Or maybe it's to work a 9 to 5 at an Amazon warehouse and get laid off. Things were so much simpler back in 2016 BC. There are two kinds of people that engage with philosophy. One kind actually reads and tries to understand it to have a broader perspective on life, and the other is a 14-year-old kid who thinks they're the next Aristotle after hearing a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche on TikTok edit whilst on their 14-hour doom-scrolling marathon. I'm personally quite interested in learning more about philosophy, expanding my worldview from other than expanding the factory and training courses, but I haven't read much. I have read a bit about Diogenes and his message, so I do shit in my local supermarket and deflect the police by saying they're blocking the sun while Fetty Wap is playing on my GBL speaker, and I have never felt better in my life. If you've interacted with any philosophical media, you might see people quoting wiser people who said something wise and life-changing. Maybe you've seen some from Aristotle, Rene Descartes, Sun Tzu, or maybe a lot more if you read books for a hobby. But I think one of the quotes that we've all heard at least once in our life is the quote, "Money doesn't bring you happiness." At face value, this does just look like a rich guy saying the money doesn't matter and you can be happy without it while speeding off in his Devil 16, but I think this quote has a lot more nuance to it other than a spit to the poor that people usually miss. The origin of the quote is quite unknown, but the earliest mention of it is from a Genevan philosopher named Jean-Jacques Rousseau, I definitely pronounced that wrong, which she wrote, "Money can buy material things, but real happiness must be truly earned." Later on, there are other iterations of the quote, like "money buys everything except morality and citizens," found in the book William and Mary Quarterly, published in 1982, and obviously the version you've all heard before. I've mentioned earlier in this video about how the quote sounds like it was written by some ignorant billionaire, so I don't blame people for not getting what I think its deeper meaning is, thinking it means that money, no matter what, will bring you happiness because the quote itself is poorly worded. So does that mean money doesn't bring you happiness? No, I too think money brings happiness. I gotta tingle my balls whenever I get my paycheck. So that means quote is disproven, right? This video is bad, clickbaity, and I should quit being a YouTuber, right? Well, no, that was really mean, man. I think the quote is better worded as money shouldn't be acquainted with happiness. Because to say that money just doesn't bring happiness is a plain lie. For most people out there, getting money could send a feeling of relief and happiness, knowing that with this, they can live and eat comfortably for the next month or so, or know that they can continue to provide and support for someone that they really care about, whether it be their family, kids, or pets. Money does bring happiness in some aspect of life. It definitely isn't the only source of happiness there is. There are things and activities in life that can bring a different warmth in your heart, like talking, hanging out with friends, or watching the sunrise set over a quaint hill while drinking a beer, or even playing a random game of chess with the old chap near the pub, or having hobbies that require not material but skill like dancing, singing, or drawing. These are things that can bring you happiness where money isn't a necessity. What money can do in the world today is bring stability in your life, knowing you have a stable living and plenty of food to last for weeks, bringing a form of happiness on its own. But a bad habit to a lot of people is completely acquainting that feeling of happiness to the possession of money and how much they have. If you completely tie the feeling of happiness into the amount of money you have in your account right now, you will not feel true happiness. Why? Because there's always a higher number. What you're doing by tying your happiness to money is basically quantifying your happiness and putting a number on it in the form of how much money you have equals how happy you are. This mentality will only lead to greed and destruction to you and everyone around you, trying everything you can to get that number up, be it from clean income or malice. But in the end, you will still be unhappy because there's always a higher number. It is nothing but a road to misery accompanied with misery. If you were given a chance to either get 500k USD or have a dinner with a high-ranking billionaire that leads any megacorp in the world, and if you are stupid enough to refuse the money and whilst eating dinner at UFO, you ask them, "Are you happy with your life?" They will most likely say yes, shortly reflecting about what they've done as a person and what they've achieved. But I know deep down they're not content with what they have and is unhappy. No matter how many corners they cut while making their product or how many employees they lay off and turn for AI to get a tinge of profits in the company so that they can have more money in their already full account, they won't ever be content because there will always be a higher number. They can try and try to chase that higher number, making their products worse, making the world worse for personal gain, and yet they will still be unhappy because when they reach that higher number, they find out that there will always be a higher number. So, can money make you happy? Yes, it absolutely can. It brings a sense of calm, knowing your essentials are covered, and can even be a gateway into a little happiness. But thinking that you can only be happy with money is not a mindset you should have ever. Go outside for once, enjoy the sunset, and take a walk. It takes no money to do that, and clear your mind. There's more to this world than a simple currency. Now, if I may, I have to get to my private dinner with Sam Altman at McDonald's while wearing my enchanted gold armor and my Lamborghini Aventador to discuss investment plans into ChatGPT and the future of our relationship. So I have to cut the video here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you again next week.
Look like you about to take us to find the Moose Man.
Who the hell is the Moose?